Whether you fall in love or fall in lust, pay attention to what you are moving toward or avoiding. We're very smart creatures. We're human. We convince ourselves into and out of a lot of things. We don't always get into relationship because we want a healthy relationship. Sometimes it's for reasons like, so we don't feel lonely, so we don't have to be alone, so our friends stop bugging us, so we can feel like a badass for dating a hot guy or a girl, so we feel a sense of self-worth through them, so we can avoid ourselves, our past, our problems, and focus our attention on this bright new shiny human who unsuspectingly walked into our lives. I'm not proud to say it, but I dated a guy in my 20s because I wanted to know what it felt like to be with someone who was very successful, who traveled all over the world, owned his business, and drove a nice car and wore nice expensive clothes. I never stopped to think about why he was dating me. I lost my virginity to him on purpose because I wanted to feel worth it and land a successful guy who wanted me. I wanted a guy who could have anything to want me too. Had I stopped to think about why I dated him and had I been in a healthy place entering that relationship, I can tell you right now, it never would have happened. So if you're interested or dating someone currently, or even if you're committed and married, stop and ask yourself the following questions about you, your relationship, and your life. What does this person make you feel like? Who do they make you be or make you want to be? What hole in your world do they fill? When you're with them, who do you get to be? What are you avoiding by being with them? And what does being with them make you feel like? What do you admire, or what do you want to learn from them? If I had stopped and really asked myself even just one of those questions, and if I had the capacity to listen to my answers and bravely follow my own truth, I would have never been in a toxic relationship for 3 years. There were warning signs. There always are. But if you aren't in a place to hear them, or you don't have capacity, the self-esteem, or the self-worth to do so, they'll soon be forgotten until they spontaneously combust in a fit of you finally stopping the crazy and putting an end to it. My ex, when I met her, was what I deemed a successful leadership coach. She was 3 years older than me. She appeared to have her shit together, at least on the surface. And I wanted to be like her. I wanted a thriving coaching business. I wanted the badassness that I saw in her. So I hung out with her and we became great friends, and soon that turned into a relationship, my first relationship with a woman. And when we became close friends, she had just gotten divorced and had been married before anyone knew that she actually was married. She was devastated, and that's when I stepped in. The world hadn't been kind to her in her life, and she'd had her own issues well beyond this divorce. I remember the day I decided that I wanted to prove to her that the world is good and kind and that I wasn't like everyone else who had hurt her. I lost myself in her, and I almost lost everything in the process. She quit her job and had major panic attacks. I drove her to therapy weekly. She went bankrupt, and eventually she moved in and lived with me. I moved from an awesome living space to literally a basement apartment to accommodate her dog. I even quit my dream job because she didn't like it, and I paid for her to live. I loved her. I just wanted her to be okay, and I was determined to show her that the world wasn't all that bad. In some twisted way, because I hadn't dealt with any of my own shit, I felt needed and wanted. Then eventually I felt used. I spent thousands of dollars on her. Eventually, she brought out the absolute worst in me. I learned about codependency during that time and was mortified that all of those things were happening in not only my relationship with her, but in other important relationships in my life. When we couldn't stand living together, she moved out and we still tried to be friends, which was her using me and me being oblivious to it. It was a sick cycle of abuse and me crawling back for more for 2.5 years. Until one day she got pregnant. She called me scared and alone with nothing. She had moved to Colorado with a guy who she had met randomly at a bar, and he had gotten her pregnant. He was a mess too. She moved home, and I tried helping her find jobs. I let her stay at my place when I wasn't home, and eventually I let her move into my condo with the stipulation that she move out before having the baby and that she find a job. Mind you, I had just started getting my own life back on track. I had lost all of my money. I had quit my job. I had to move into my parents' house for a month while I saved enough for rent for my new job and a new place. You're probably thinking, my God, Lacy, when was it ever enough? And I'll tell you exactly when. We'd gone out to dinner following a friend's birthday party that my ex had helped to throw. Halfway through my glass of white wine, I finally put some things together and I asked, "When did you get pregnant?" And she said, "It has to have been late May or early June." I said, "Oh, how? I mean, you were living with your parents. Did you go to his house or something?" And silence filled the entire restaurant as I realized in that moment that the woman I loved, who I quite literally would have done anything for, had taken a random man back to my basement apartment, had sex with him on my bed, and made a baby. I said, "Wait, did you have sex with him in my apartment when I was gone on my bed?" To which she replied, smiling with a hint of laughter, "Yes, I wouldn't have told you if you still had the mattress." If I still had the mattress? I was so hurt. It was the first time that it was blatant that she had no care and no regard for me. She was really just using me. We went back to my condo where she was staying, and 3 days later, I told her she had 2 weeks to get out. I drug you through this long, emotional story because the day that I finally stood up for myself was the day that I made room in my life for someone like Maggie. If I hadn't done that, I never would have met her. Well, maybe I would have met her, but without a doubt, I never would have seen her with the eyes and the heart of a healthy person who knew what she wanted in life and stood up for it. The night I met Maggie, my now wife, was the night that my ex was packing her things and moving out of my place. When you consider who you want to be with and why, and who you are when you are with them, make sure that you listen to your intuition. That still small voice inside that knows and feels it all. I heard all the warning bells and I still did it. I learned a lot. It was painful, and fortunately I got out and I stopped the cycle of abuse. The truth is, healthy, confident, self-loving Lacy would have never gotten into that relationship to begin with. And that's the huge lesson, and why I advocate so strongly for doing whatever it is for you. Usually it's therapy or counseling of some type to get real with yourself. Process your life, your past, your emotional baggage, and rediscover you. It's the greatest thing you'll ever do for yourself, that you can finally stop the cycle that is no longer serving or supporting you. Be real with yourself and true with your heart, and enter your relationship with love. Love of yourself, love of your person, and be clear about who you are and what you want and what you're willing for the relationship to be like. Share that with your person too. I did that with Maggie, and to this day, some of those first discussions are the foundation of our relationship, and now of our marriage.
What? It's over? Oh no, it's not. Did you like this episode? If so, there are 3 things that you can do right now to continue your journey. First, you can subscribe right here to my channel so I can keep sending you awesome videos on a weekly basis to keep transforming your life. Second, share this video with a friend who needs it right now. I make these videos for you in hopes that they'll help you. It's such an honor, and I'm grateful to you for sharing. Third, if you want even more great resources to show up, own your life, and find your way, plus some insights from me that I only get to share via email, then come on over to lacykirkland.com and make sure you sign up for my newsletter. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode. Until then, move daily toward your purpose. Choose love over fear, and believe that there is always a way, and you will find it. On your journey, leave people better than you found them. Play hard and love even harder. And know that in all things you have choice. And when you have choice, you have everything you need.